Hello, welcome back to our 5-acre farm. To all our friends and family that watch our channel, to anyone who's come across this video because of the title that we're processing Cornish Cross, welcome. We are, just like it says, a 5-acre farm, but I use the term farm loosely. We're just a regular family. We live in North Idaho, up in the Panhandle, not too far from the Canadian border. This is not a farm that makes money. We don't make a living at this. We're not professionals. We're pretty much just like everyone else in 2020 that had enough of living in the city and enough of dealing with the unknown, the uncertainty. We weren't about to wait for the government to come to our aid and deliver us food or anything like that. So we decided to get away from it all. I was born and raised in Boston, but we lived in Southern California. That's where my wife is from. Her family's originally from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so we decided to come back up here. We fell in love with the place. So here we are. We've been up here for about a year now, almost a year, a couple of weeks short of a year. We've been farming or homesteading. I use air quotes because it's like we're just regular people that want to raise our own food, don't want to depend on the grocery stores. We still do grocery store shopping, but all of our meat comes from our land. We know what goes into it. We know what we're eating. They're raised humanely, treated with respect. I like to say they have one bad day, and I don't mean, that sounds funny, but that's the truth. They have one bad day. These chickens are what we're going to be processing today. These are our Cornish Cross. They've lived a great life. They've been rotationally grazed through our woods. This is their final spot they've been in. As you can see behind me, tall grass, everything's really nice. They have a large area to free range in. We just have the electric fence up for their protection to keep predators out. So here we are. So as you can see by my subscriber count, I don't make any money on YouTube. I don't make any money on our farm. We're just a regular family who make home videos and put it up on YouTube, and maybe you can learn something from us. Maybe you can learn what not to do from us. So anyways, with that said, my first video that I uploaded last year was us getting ready for processing of Cornish Cross. And I got a bunch of hits on it, over 700 like right away. And I think people thought we were gonna actually show processing. It was just a home movie that I put on there. I didn't expect anyone to look at it, but so I'm guessing that a lot of people tuned in because they wanted to see how meat chickens are processed, and that's exactly what we're gonna show today. So we're gonna show the whole thing in full detail. So it might be a long video. I'll try to keep my talking to a minimum. For being such an introverted person, I yap away when I start filming. So anyways, let's get right to it. This is going to be the whole thing. So since I don't make any money on YouTube, I'm not getting monetized, I don't have to worry about showing the killing of an animal on my channel because YouTube will allow it, but they won't allow you to make money on it. So I don't make any money anyway, so I'm going to show the whole thing. So we'll give you a warning before we do it. So if you don't like to watch that, that's fine, understandable. But if you're a meat eater, you should know where your food comes from. You should, and that's what we wanted to do, get back in touch with where our food comes from. I mean, 100 years ago, which isn't that long. I mean, my grandfather, not my great-grandfather, my grandfather was born more than 100 years ago. 130 years ago, yeah. He was born in the 1800s. So to them, going out back and grabbing a chicken and killing it for dinner was no big deal. Nowadays, we're like, oh my God, that's awful. You should just go to the grocery store and get your meat. Well, yeah. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about grocery store meat versus farm raised, but anyways, that's another video. This is going to be all about all about processing Cornish Cross. I have other videos out about raising them, so hopefully you watch them. If not, go check them out. With this year, this is our second year raising them. I've processed chickens about 5 times now. Why are you laughing at me? Shonda just got home. She's laughing at me. She went to get ice this morning, which we're going to use in processing these. So if you watch the other videos, this is our second year raising them. I've processed them a bunch of times, but this is only our second year raising them ourselves. Last year we raised 25, we lost 2, so we processed 23. This year has been both a huge success and an epic failure at the same time. We ordered 75. They always throw a few extra in there. We received 78. There's our rooster, Romeo. He's going to check on his hens that are running around. Our egg layers are free range. We just let them roam around. Anyways, so success and failure at the same time this year. Last year we only lost 2. This year we started with 78, and I think we have 50, if even that. So we lost 28. Just a epic failure. I'm not sure what happened. We lost a bunch to crows and ravens, aerial predators. So I moved them from out in the open to under the trees to help hide them a little bit more. We lost a bunch to sickness. They did. Sometimes with these Cornish Cross, they get so big that they'll just have a heart attack and die. But they didn't get this big until this last week. They really ballooned up in the last 2 weeks. And we had a lot of them getting sick before that. And we started to harvest them thinking we just harvest them early, even though they were smaller. But like I cut one open and a lot of pus inside, so it clearly had some infection, so we didn't eat it. So I'm not sure what went wrong. They all ate the same feed. They all got the water. They got plenty of feed, but not too much. 12 on, 12 off. Plenty of water, 15 gallons a day that was provided to them. They didn't always go through it until the end. They started going through about 15 a day. But they always had water 24/7. They always had fresh ground. We're not sure what happened. I don't know, trial and error. We'll try to figure it out for next year, what went wrong. But the ones that did remain are huge.
I hope they're going to be bigger than chicken nuggets this year.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be bigger than the chicken nuggets we got last year. Last year we had an average of 3.5, 4 pounds. I think maybe we had 1 5-pounder. So it was very disappointing. The first time we ever processed chickens was at our friend's house in California, and they were 8 pounds dressed. So after they're already butchered, they were 8 pounds. We're hoping to get some 8-pounders out of here. We have a mixture, a straight run of hens and roosters. The roosters are a lot bigger than the hens. Next year, I think I'll probably do just straight roosters for the size. I wanted to have a mixture of sizes because sometimes you don't want to cook a huge 8-pound bird. So that's why we did a straight run. But as far as how they turned out, I couldn't be happier with the ones that survived. I mean, completely, fully feathered. Normally you see Cornish Cross and they look sick. They got patches of feathers all over them. You can see a little bit on that one, a little bit underneath. But that's not bad. I mean, if he puts his wings down, he's completely fully feathered. They look great. They're big. They're healthy. The food has been over there. The water's been over here. Their coop has been in there. So they've had to move around a lot. They have to run around a lot, which I do that on purpose to make sure that they get exercise. I want them free-ranging. I want them healthy. I want them eating grass, eating bugs. Just a few days ago, this was all huge, tall grass, and they've eaten it all down. So they've been eating grass, eating bugs, along with the grain that we've been feeding them, the 22% meat bird feed. So the ones that remained look great. I'm happy with it. It's lousy that we lost so many. We'll try to address that and figure out what maybe I did wrong. And we may have to do another batch this year with only 50, and we've already got some promised away to some neighbors. So we're gonna have 40. So that's not even one a week for the year. So I may do another batch in the fall time. So, okay, enough talking. So this is where they're starting from today. This is how they look in the beginning, and I'll show you our setup for processing them. Okay, so we're gonna take them from over there where they are this morning. We're gonna bring them over here to our killing cones. I was gonna build something so it's like straight across and all lined up and all that, but I didn't get a chance to. So last year I had a 2x4 going across, and all 4 were lined up and had the buckets underneath to catch the blood. We'll try to do that again this year. I'll have to put rocks under there to make them level. We catch the blood for a couple of reasons. Number one, so it's just not all over the place. Although I live rural. I mean, this is my front yard. This isn't even the back side of my property. We have 5 acres that goes back into just woods. So this is the front yard, But even then, I could just let it fall all over the place, no big deal. But we use the blood for fertilizer. So I fill a little bit with water. If you don't put any water in there, it'll start to dry and coagulate by the end of the day. Be all sticky and slimy. So the water will keep it thinned out. So we can pour it around our trees, probably pour it in our orchard today. So anyways, the chickens will come in here. They'll go into the cones, bring the head through here. We'll make a cut on the jugular here, and then we'll move on. So there's 4 of them I got set up. These are the metal ones, maybe $20 each. You could definitely use 5-gallon buckets. If you go online and you just Google the plan for it, they'll tell you how to cut it. You'll cut the bottom off. You'll cut a slit in the bucket. You'll fold it into a cone, and you can put some holes in it and keep it together with strong zip ties, the heavy-duty zip ties. So you can do that weight as well, because the buckets will cost you $5 at pretty much any farm store or Home Depot or Lowe's. We had the money last year, so we invested in all the equipment. Once I'm done with it, I clean it. I put it away in our storage shed. We don't touch it again. So it was an investment for us, and we'll keep them for years and years to come. So that, I didn't mind spending the money on them. Buy once, cry once type of thing. But like I said, the buckets would be just fine too. If you figure out how to make those into a cone, you can do that as well. So that's where we'll do our killing this year. Like I said, we're at the front of the house. That's a road, not a public road, but a private road. But our neighbors use that road. So if our neighbors drive by and see us killing chickens, it's not crazy unusual up here. It's not unheard of. So they'll just look at us like, oh, okay, they're harvesting chickens today. No big deal. If we were still living in California, they'd, without a doubt, the neighbors would call the police on us and call PETA and start boycotting our front yard. So that won't happen here in North Idaho. So then from there, we'll take them over here into the pots of water for scalding. We want to keep the water at about 145 degrees, no more than 150. So it's exactly 145 right now. 150, okay, it's jumping up to 150. So I'll explain when we do it. I'll show you how we do it. I mean, a pot over a wood fire would be good as well. You just have to either control the fire or control the water by adding cold water to it if it gets too hot. With the propane, I can just turn it up or down, so it's nice to do that. So between 140 and 150. 145 is the ideal. You dip it. People will tell you 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, blah, blah, blah. We'll time it today and see how long we do it for, okay? And again, we'll show it again when we're actually doing it, and I'll show you what you're looking for when you scald them. From the scalder, they'll come over here to the plucker. If you've ever plucked a chicken by hand, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because you just drop it in there, turn it on, add water to it, and the rubber fingers, these are just rubber, these will pluck it for you. And by the time it comes out of here, it's going to look like it came from a grocery store. Okay, so from their coop to the killing cone to the scalders to the plucker to the table to be butchered. So I'm going to prepare this table to be cut on. We have a plastic one over there that can be cut on. My wife can bring out a cutting board if she wants here, so you don't ruin the knives. So to prepare the tables, because we're going to have the raw chicken on it, we want to disinfect it. So a little bit of bleach, just a splash of bleach, not a lot, 10-to-1 ratio, in a bucket of water, and disinfect everything. And so this will disinfect the tabletops. I got to sharpen the knives, and then I'll disinfect those. We have really the key to a good, swift, and humane killing of the chickens is a super, super sharp knife. You want to be able to cut right through the jugular with one, no more than 2 cuts. And I say one, but my kids will do it, and they'll have to saw a little bit. They won't have the same strength to cut through it. You want to make a good cut through the jugular so they bleed out quickly, and they'll die pretty quickly. Again, we'll talk about it when we actually do it. We've done it where we've cut the heads off. We've done it where we cut the jugular. I think it's probably a little bit better to cut the jugular because they basically fall asleep first. They lose that blood, lose that oxygen, they go unconscious, and then they die. Whereas cutting the head off, a little bit more painful. Well, I don't know if it's more painful, but it doesn't reduce the flapping around, the jerking afterwards. And you know, you've heard if you've never harvested a chicken, you've heard the expression, run around like a chicken with its head cut off, because after they die, they'll still have involuntary jerking of the muscles, and so they will be flapping around. So if you cut the jugular, it's going to be, you're going to think, again, if you've never seen it, you're going to think, oh my God, it's still alive, it's in pain. No. If you cut the head off, it does the same exact thing. I've tested it both ways. Cutting the jugular helps it fall asleep quicker, go unconscious quicker, and then just bleed out. It also helps to bleed out the body a lot better as well, so you get all the blood out of the body. So either way, I'll show you that when we get to it. Right now I want to disinfect everything because this is where we're going to be cutting. Again, 10-to-1 bleach ratio is, I promise, most of you watching this know that. It's just a common disinfectant solution. And here comes the gang. Hi girls. We all ready?
Is that smoothing it?
It's sharpening it. It takes off all the ridges. Also, if there's any like chips in it. It's called a whetstone. This is the best way to sharpen a knife. The gloves with the gray backing are cut resistant. Okay, so if you're over there cutting them, you can use one of these. If you're butchering over here, you can use one if you want to. Okay, so these are the cut resistant gloves. We have 4 of them. All right. So we're going to take the chicken over here. So after we get them from over there, so we'll have a couple of you collecting the chickens from over there and bringing them over here to the kiln this way, is to grab the legs, okay? That way you can control it. You're holding the legs, you reach up and you grab the head, okay? Cora, hand me that knife over there, please. So come over here with the camera. Come on this side. So when they're in there, okay, girls? Okay. Y'all remember this? Come over here. You can feel with your hand. Come over here, girls, so you can see. So you can all see this. You can feel with your hand the jawline. Okay. You want to put the knife right on the jaw. Okay. You understand? And you want to try and make a deep, quick cut. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Do not cut yourself. This is an extremely sharp knife. Okay. Put it right there. You want to make a cut through the jugular, but not all the way through the whole head. Okay, you might have to saw a little bit like that, okay? So once you cut that jugular, her eyes are already closed. She's already fallen asleep because she's not getting the oxygen to her brain anymore. And in a couple of seconds, she's going to be dead. Well, she is dead already. She can't feel anything. Once you cut that jugular, you can't feel anything. She's going to flap around, okay? Don't freak out. It's involuntary muscle twitches after death, okay? They will. We just can't make money on it. No, seriously. You can show an animal being killed. You cannot. They won't monetize a video with an animal being killed. So you can show all kinds of sexual content and evil content and lies and all that on YouTube, but you can't show people harvesting their own meat. Okay. This chicken's already dead. Okay. So it's gonna flap around for a few minutes. That is the involuntary jerking after it's dead. So don't freak out. That's actually not doing it that much. You'd think it would be doing it more than that. So like I said, doing the entire head is, I think it just causes more trauma to the chicken. It dulls your knives for sure, and it doesn't reduce the twitches at all. We've tried it both ways. We've tried cutting the head off, and we've tried just cutting the jugular. They twitch after death no matter what. So I think this is an easier way, and also this gets the blood out of the meat as well. You want all that blood drained out of the meat, and this way drains the blood because the heart is still pumping, so it's still pumping the blood, so it's pumping it all out. Like I said, this chicken is dead already. It looks like it's flopping around in pain. It's not in pain. So a little sawing motion through that jugular vein, and that's it, and then just let it sit. So we'll have like 4 going at once, okay? When you're done with the knives, just set them over here so we can keep track of them. We'll have 2 knives over here for the killing cones, and the rest will be over there for butchering. We'll wait a few minutes and wait for it to stop.
We're doing stations, or everyone just take care of
Yeah,
the
I'll
chicken?
probably do stations. Was that easier last year?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone can go through it if everyone wants to do every station to see what they like to do or what they don't like to do. So, whatever you girls want to do.
But we don't have to wait this long normally.
No, well, what we're gonna do is do like 4 at once and then leave them.
Yeah.
While you guys are butchering, and so there'll be some in here waiting for us.
Okay.
So you're not doing this and just standing around for 5 minutes waiting. No, we're gonna have a whole thing going.
Start again.
Okay, so you want the water. This one's a little hot, so I'm not going to use that one. You want the water between 140 to 150. 145 is like the perfect temperature. It's hard to keep it exactly at that. So this one's at 150, a little bit more. So I will take a hose, and I'll throw a little bit of water in here, a little cold water. Just to cool it down a little bit, because a little more. I want it to 150 max, because if it's too hot, it's going to scald the chicken too much and it'll burn the skin off. So when you go to butcher it, or even cook it, when you unwrap it after it's been in the freezer for 6 months, the skin is going to be all torn apart. Okay, so I knocked that back down to 150, 145 right there. So it's the perfect temperature. Sometimes people will dip just the legs. I mean, yeah, hold the legs and dip right up to it. You can do that with a bare hand, no problem. We like to keep the feet for our dogs as dog treats. We dehydrate them and give them for dog treats. So I want to like sterilize everything. I want to sterilize those as well. So rather than using a spoon or something, I got these heat-resistant gloves that are fantastic. So I can dip my whole hand in there, push it around.
Luna. Here, Luna.
So that's 15 seconds right there. So we can test it to see. As I said in the beginning of the video, there's all kinds of theories as to how long it should take. That's a little bit too hard to come out. So that was 15 seconds. I like to dip in and out a little bit. So I'm probably going, total of 20 seconds right there. Test the feather again, test the flight feathers, see if they come out. That comes out a lot easier, maybe a little bit longer. So I would say anywhere from 25 to 30 seconds total. Again, on the internet, I've heard people say, oh yeah, a minute. If you dump this in there for a minute, you're cooking the chicken, okay? And I've literally seen that. People say, what's wrong with my chicken? And they actually show a cooked chicken, okay? So don't do that. So that was 30 seconds total with dipping it in and out, okay? So now that those feathers come out pretty easy, they pop right out, nice and easy. That's what you're looking for. That tells you that it's ready to go into the plucker. So if you're gonna pluck this by hand, you would start plucking by hand. And we've done that. Bella and I have done that to a giant turkey, 35 pounds dressed. That was not fun. So this thing is the greatest thing. So start that up, start the water into it, and you drop it right in. I counted 10 seconds, so maybe 12 seconds total. And you're gonna have a few left over, but it's better to have to pull them out than to start tearing the skin. So right now that skin is perfect, not torn, and I'll leave it at that. I'd rather just pluck the rest of these out by hand than risk ruining the skin. So, minus the head, I know the head looks terrible. Again, if this was 80 years ago, you'd see this hanging in the grocery store and not think anything of it. But now you're used to that, you're not used to the head. But that looks like a chicken you get from the grocery store. No big deal.
Except it's GMO.
Huh?
Non-GMO.
Except it's non-GMO, organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, not raised in a warehouse. So they can talk, that's fine. So then we bring it over here. So we can do this. You don't keep the necks or anything, right? You don't care about keeping the necks?
No, I don't give them to the dogs.
Okay, so if we're gonna keep the necks, we probably cut it up here and just take the head off. This is just for us. We're not selling these. We're not trying to get more weight out of it. If you're selling them, it's kind of cheesy, but you keep most of the neck to add weight to it. We're not doing that. This is just for us, for our freezer. So we're gonna take the scissors, because the scissors will go through bone a lot better. And we'll cut the head off. Okay, so that goes through the bone. That goes through that. When you're taking, so the head's gone, we'll need a bucket over here for the head.
It's down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. So we'll have a separate one for the feet.
That's the feet one right there.
Okay, so what we're looking for is we're not looking to cut through the bone, okay? We're looking to bend it this way, the natural way it bends, but we're looking for the joint in here, okay? And it should be right about here, okay? So it's not sawing, it's just a matter of pressing down on it, okay? Finding that joint. Finding where the knife just slips in between the joint. You shouldn't be sawing away at it. And you see the bones in there? How they look like the regular chicken bones like you eat, right? Like a chicken leg. I didn't cut it. Well, I cut it I cut it a little bit right there. But then I stopped. So I'm not looking to saw through it because that's going to dull your knives. You'll be sharpening them all day. So you just push through the joint and that's it. And then again, the knives are so razor sharp, comes right off. So the same thing over here. Just find the joint and push through. Okay, we're not sawing through it. And just take your time. Don't try and, it's not a race. Okay, we'd rather do this correctly, and right there, and that's it. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to be gutting it. Okay, so we're going to grab a little bit of the skin back here. Okay, a little bit of that skin, and we're going to make a small hole in there. Okay, you see I cut through the layer of skin but not the layer of fat. You want to be very careful because you don't want to cut into any of the intestines or anything. Okay, just a small hole through that fat. Now I've got it opened up. Okay, so that's all I'm looking for is right there, because now I can spread that with my fingers. Okay, take this off. You're gonna get dirty. You're gonna have chicken guts all over you. You're gonna have blood on you. It's just part of it. I'm gonna spread that out a little bit, just enough to get my fingers in it. But see how close the intestines are? I do not want to cut through those.
Come and look, girls.
Okay. Yeah, everyone stand on one side for me. Cora, you're a cook. Don't try to deflect. Okay, Cora doesn't like this stuff. I know.
No, I'm.
But you're a cook, so when you get to this point, it's just like a regular chicken, right? That looks like a chicken you get in the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna reach in, and I know it seems kind of weird and gross, but I can feel against the ribs up here, against the breast. This is the breast. I can feel up there, and I can stick my hands in there, and kind of with my hand, I'm making a blading motion on both sides, just separating it all. Okay? Alex has this look on her face. She is just like, this is great. Okay? Cora looks like she's in fear.
No, I'm fine. I'm
She's gonna
fine.
pass out.
And Emma's like, I've done this before.
I've done this before.
Bella's like, let's do this thing.
So you want to reach all the way up in there with your hands. Okay? You want to break it all away from the cavity. Okay? I'm gonna break that all away. Okay? And you don't stick a knife up in here. Do not stick a knife up into the cavity. Okay?
Why would you stick a knife up there?
I don't know. But you girls do crazy stuff. I don't know. I ask myself why you girls do a lot of things you do.
Hey!
Okay? All right, so the next thing to do is we're gonna cut, you gotta cut this gland out, this scent gland, that's the tail, and there's a scent gland in here, and that's the butthole. Okay, you want to cut all that out. We don't want to cut through it though. I want to be careful. So I'm going to go out to the outside edges. Okay, and I'm going to kind of cut down at a V. Okay, there, there. Okay, I'm not going to cut it off yet though. Okay,
Because you don't want to hit the bowels.
yeah. So I'm going to leave it hanging like that. Now I'm going to reach in and I'm going to grab all the intestines and pull it all out. Okay.
What are we saving?
We'll figure it out. Hell, I think we still got all our chicken livers and stuff from last year.
I gotta dehydrate them for the dogs.
Yeah, we're gonna save them all for the dogs. Again, just get in there, take your time. We got all day.
When I do this, I do it fast.
She does it fast. That's why I leave it up to the cooks. I leave it to the chefs in the family. Okay? Grab it all out. And don't squeeze and don't pry, and I'll explain why in a minute.
It's like taking the stuff out of a turkey.
It is. It's not a big deal. So the esophagus, I'm reaching up in here and I'm grabbing it, and it kind of hard.
See the esophagus?
You can rip it out through the front, the top, or the bottom. Okay.
Tell them what they do not want to puncture.
So the gallbladder, right? Is that it? The gallbladder?
The bowel.
So, well, gallbladder, right? It's the gallbladder, right? That's where all the nastiness is, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the filters, basically. So you don't want to, you don't want to puncture any of this stuff.
If it starts coming out green, you need to rinse fast.
Fast, because you'll ruin the meat, okay? So you've got the kidney there, you've got the heart right here, you've got the liver right here. We can keep the liver for the dogs, okay? This here is the crop.
And sometimes it's filled with sand or like...
You can feel it. It's super hard. It's filled with rocks.
You want to fill it?
That's what they eat. So chickens have no teeth.
It's kind of pretty.
So the only way they can chew up their food is they swallow it, and it goes into their crop, their gizzard, and it gets ground up in there, and then they can process the feed. Okay? When we did the turkeys, remember that turkey? It was like a baseball. It was filled with rocks.
Aren't we not supposed to feed them like 24 hours before we...
We
Yeah,
didn't.
so we stopped. Yeah, imagine. So that's filled with rocks, so not food. That's why there wasn't a lot of poop that came out, because we stopped feeding these 24 hours ago. A little bit over 24. I fed them yesterday morning at 6:30. So what is it now? Like 10:30, 11? So they probably finished their food yesterday about noontime. So it's been 24 hours since they've eaten anything. Okay. So now that we've got that out, now I can finish cutting that tail off, that gland that we don't want to puncture also. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Bella, grab a wooden, not a wooden, grab a teal plastic cutting board, please.
Anything else that you want to clean out in here? It's pretty clean. But you can see, because we cut that jugular and we let that bleed out, hose please, and we let that bleed out.
There's not much blood.
There's not much blood in there, you know? So after that we can...
That's a good sized chicken.
That's a good size. That's already better than last year.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll keep the hose over here.
Yeah, so there's the red hose we'll bring back for Jay for the plucker. And you're gonna get wet and dirty and bloody and everything else. So that's why
we got a couple of those
clothes
things
on. That's why I have muck boots on. Okay. Oh, sorry, girls. This is why I bleached the table first. So we're gonna get our food all over this table. We don't want it to be nasty. We'll bleach it again when we're done for the day. Okay. So that there is what? That's a chicken you'd go to the grocery store and buy. I mean, same thing, except a lot bigger.
Wait.
And that's not even our biggest one. And that's already a lot bigger than what you're gonna get in the it's a lot bigger than the $5 turkeys you get, right?
Yeah.
The $5 Cornish hens that you buy.
Right. I'm so curious.
And this is not one of our biggest ones. We have ones that are a lot bigger than this. This is a hen. And that's 5 pounds and 14 ounces.
That was probably one of our biggest ones.
Last year, I don't even think we got that. We got 5 something. I don't, because this is 2 ounces away from 6 pounds.
Yeah.
2 ounces away from 6 pounds.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of 3 pounds and 4 pounds.
We did like our biggest one was like 5 1/4 maybe.
Yeah.
That was it last year.
So that's great.
So this is already bigger. So yeah, 5 pounds, 14 ounces.
Woo!
So, and if we left neck on them, well, we would have got 6 pounds. So.
Okay, now show what you do with that.
Now we'll go from here.
Oh, my Red Bull. Yeah, we're raising our girls very differently than other people.
Well, this is everything that you would get in a grocery store, except, like I said, it's not. There's no hormones. There's no vaccines. We know what we fed it. We know how it was treated. It wasn't raised in a warehouse. Because chickens you buy from the grocery store do not see the light of day. They're raised in a warehouse. So I have vinegar and water in here, and then some ice. So this is the vinegar. Does it work or not? I've never done it before. I just heard some other people doing it to kind of disinfect a little bit from any bacteria. So we'll leave it in here until this gets full, and then once this gets full with like 4 or 5 chickens, then we'll move them over here where it's just going to be ice, no vinegar, and we'll chill them in there. So it's important that once you kill it, within a reasonable amount of time, you bring the body temperature down to like 40 degrees. It's important. That way bacteria doesn't have a chance to grow. So, and that's it. So we'll keep them on ice overnight for 24 hours, and then tomorrow we'll come out and heat up the water again and shrink wrap them, vacuum seal them.
Right on them.
Yeah, we'll weigh them all. So.
Yay, but just let them all know that it's not the cheapest way to have your chicken.
It is not cheap. I probably went through, I gotta add up how many bags of feed I went through. I have it on the phone. I think they take about 1/3 of a bag. So in the ballpark of 16 pounds, 16, 17 pounds of feed for 8 weeks is what they take. Going from last year and this year, how many bags of feed I took. So not a crazy amount. 1/3 of a bag of a 50-pound bag for the entire 8 weeks per chicken. So not crazy. Off the top of my head, it's probably we started with 78, we finished with 50. Again, I already talked about that in the beginning of the video. Epic failure, at the same time, huge success. The ones that survived are huge and plump and healthy, great. Why we lost nearly 30, I have no idea. We'll address that.
Did you count them?
Next time. Yeah, we have about 50 left.
That's what I thought the other day.
Yeah.
I think animals were going in there and taking them.
Maybe, because a lot of them I didn't see the carcasses, so
yeah.
they're probably taken out. What was I just saying? Oh, the feed. So about 1/3 of a bag, about 16, 17 pounds for an 8-week period. So a lot of people will say, not a lot of people.
Per chicken?
Per chicken.
Per chicken.
For the 8 weeks.
For the 8 weeks.
Yes.
Per chicken.
So if I have, off the top of my head, I'm thinking like a dozen bags maybe we went through. So $25 a bag on average, 22 to $25 a bag, 50-pound bags. So add that up. I'll figure it out later by the end of the video. Some people will say, well,
300
on the internet, and don't listen to the internet, don't listen to Facebook. What I'm doing here is not necessarily instructional. It's just to get some knowledge.
And what we do.
About a bunch of videos. This is just what we do. But stay off of the Facebook groups about how to kill chicken and stuff. It's just awful. And a lot of people going, well, the Cornish Cross is the same thing you get in the grocery store. Fed the same way. It tastes the same. That's a person who's lying. That's either a liar or a bot. It does not taste the same.
No, absolutely not.
Far superior to anything that you're going to get in the grocery store, guaranteed. Some people will argue that the American Bressie or the Freedom Rangers taste better. Maybe. I've never tasted them, so I can't argue with that. But they take an additional month to grow out.
Let them out.
So that's a lot more feed, and then they don't get nearly as big. So you're putting a lot more feed into them, a lot more money into them for less meat.
And they don't fill them with water.
The only thing about the Cornish Cross is you cannot breed them. They will not reproduce. They won't breed true, so you're not going to get another Cornish Cross, even if you keep it long enough to lay an egg, which they don't. But even if you do, they're not going to breed true. You won't get a Cornish Cross. Whereas the American Bressie, you can keep them, and it's okay. They can talk. Relax. The American Bressie, you can keep them, and you can reproduce your own instead of having to order them every year. So, but I like keeping them 8 weeks, no more, and I like the size they get.
Because they get stinky.
And they taste good to us, and they're juicy.
What do you guys think of these chickens compared to regular chickens?
Something completely different.
They're dense, they're good, right?
Healthy and meaty, like it has that actual taste of a chicken.
Where the chickens in the store, what? They fill with water.
They fill with brine, so it's just basically preservatives, salt, and water, and whatever, and they add whatever citric, I don't know.
Citric acid to it, yes.
Citric acid,
But
acid.
But you know what?
All kinds of preservatives to it. That's what you're eating.
But every time we ran out of chicken for a while ago. We ran out of chicken, and I had to go get like a roasted chicken at the store, and everybody was like, ugh, this isn't our chicken. And I was like, excuse me, I'm sorry.
And I'm not just saying that because we raise chickens. I am telling you, I guarantee you, find someone or go to a farm that raises them naturally.
Organic.
Where we came from in California, they have farms that raise it.
And how much are they
One in
a
Marietta
piece?
that you can go to that's organically raised. Primal pastures, I think they're called. They raise them the way they're supposed to be raised at $35 a chicken, but it's all organic and you're not getting them from a factory. But you will definitely notice the difference. You'll notice the texture. They're so much more dense because they're not filled with water. I mean, when you're buying it in the grocery store and you're buying your 5-pound chicken, it's probably a pound of water in it, probably a pound of fluid in there that they use to bulk it up. They look sick to me. The grocery store ones look sick.
Let's talk to my brother real quick, who moved here with us, and how do you think of the chickens?
The best chicken ever.
Really, right?
Very moist.
Very moist. We like moist. Yeah, he says he loves them. So, anyways, okay.
If you have the opportunity to do this, I highly suggest it. I highly suggest you give it a try. It's not that hard to do. If we can do it, you can do it. We're city people. I was born and raised in Boston. They're from California. You can do this. Anyone can do this. So
Okay.
we'll film a little bit throughout the day, and
We're gonna film our freezer too, because our freezer's full of lamb that we've done,
Yep.
pork that we've done, and now we're filling it up with chicken. So we haven't had to buy meat for a long time.
yeah.
Okay,
All right. So that right there, that's what you do not want to cut. That's the gallbladder.
I'll show you why.
You want to be very careful. Take it off for, yeah, she's going to take it off and then she'll cut it open and show you. Because that's where, in any body, human body, that's where basically all the waste goes. That's the filter, I guess, right? The kidneys filter out a lot of stuff, and a lot of the
We saving this.
the waste and the bile is in the gallbladder. So if you get that all over your meat, that's going to ruin your meat.
Okay,
So you want to make sure it comes out looking like that in one piece.
these are really okay.
So see all that green? Neon green? That's bad stuff.
I should
Okay.
show the girls.
So that's bad stuff. So she'll rinse herself off and rinse the scissors in the bleach
Remember,
water.
don't cut that. I'll have
Don't
to
want
do-
that.
Let me do one more for them and show them.
Okay.
Make sure.
Okay.
Can you hand me that water?
Yeah, right here, right here.
What?
Throw that in the ground. You're already into it, huh? Not messing around. All right. Good. Try to catch it in the buckets.
Yeah.
Uh,
the freaking.
It doesn't matter if it gets all over the
Can you
place.
try that?
It's just that the
I'll take that.
it's just that the buckets we're going to use for fertilizer. Fertilize the trees and plants and stuff. Blood is good fertilizer.
All right, Alex, what'd you just do?
Huh?
What'd you just do?
Killed a chicken.
You killed a chicken for the first time? Heck yeah.
His jugular?
About right there. He's doing good. Nice job. Look at you go. Woo!
A little bit longer than that, yeah. See that you're ripping the skin, then you've gone too far. You've gone too long. What's that? If you see that you're ripping the skin, then you've gone too long. So everything's going smooth. We're getting a little bit of rain on us, but that's better than yesterday. It was blazing hot, so I'd rather do it in a little bit of rain than the heat we had yesterday.
Don't body shame the chicken right before it's supposed to die. I can't get his head. He's too fat. Huh?
What's up, Aspen? What's up, buddy?
I'm just figuring out, instead of bending it this way and trying to find the knuckle, I take the leg and I bend it this way instead. I can see the knuckle there. I just kind of slide it right through and it goes right through like that.
There you go.
It's just better.
So we'll update to our initial instruction. So yeah, that was a lot easier doing it that way.
Yeah,
So
it
bend
was
the leg the
faster,
opposite
too.
direction. Yeah, there you go. Little update. We're learning as we go. And that's a big one. That was, how much was that?
8 pounds, 9 ounces.
8 pounds, 9 ounces. So we'll see what it is dressed. We'll take about a pound off of it. So 7, 9 hopefully.
Got all this stuff out of this?
Oh, my goodness.
Go through a little bit harder. Push a little harder. Go a little deeper into it. Get the blood flowing good. Okay. Aspen. So we'll use all this as fertilizer. We'll drop this around the trees or something. Wherever Shonda wants to use it. So we got, how many did we get? Did we do 50, right? I think it was 50. So that's our,
Something close to it.
yeah, that's our chicken harvest for the springtime. Spring chickens are done. Did 50. Today went pretty good. What time is it? Anyone know? Huh? 3:07. We started about 11, so 4 hours to do 11:30. Oh, so 3.5 hours to do 50 chickens. Not bad. We had a pretty good system going. Everyone had a station. What's that?
You lost 25 chickens?
Lost 28. Yeah, that's what I said in the beginning of the video. It was an epic failure and a huge success. Because the ones that survived looked great, but losing 28 was pretty embarrassing. 50 chickens. The smallest one was 5 pounds even, right? Just a couple grams over 5 pounds. And the largest one that we weighed was 7 pounds 2 ounces. But we have a couple that the scale ended up breaking, so we don't know what the final ones were.
damn heavy, the scale broke.
Yeah, we had some big ones. So we had several 7 pounders, over 7 pounds. So we're pretty happy with that. 7 pounds dressed. I would say the average was 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds was probably the average. So it went very well. Everyone helped out. Everyone chipped in. They all did great. Lots of hard work today. They got a 15-minute coffee break, union coffee break, and then we were cracking the whip on them. So everyone did really well. A lot of teamwork. And just as I said in the beginning of the video, that some of our neighbors might see us out in front, so they come over and say, hey, what you guys butchering? Butchering chickens. Oh, okay. See ya. And that was about it. If we're in California, we'd have PETA picketing our house already, and Humane Society and Animal Control. Huh? Yeah, so we saved all the chicken feet. So those are going to be dehydrated dog treats. Not that you have to dehydrate them, but the dogs love them when we dehydrate them. Chicken livers, we'll freeze those and probably, I don't know, raw or dehydrated, I'm not sure. Fish bait as well.
Fish bait.
Good fish bait, chicken livers, yep. So all the guts and the heads, I'll take that out to the woods and feed the animals in the far back end of the property. I buried it all last year. This year I may just dump it out and see if it goes. I'm pretty sure it'll go. So all in all, I think a pretty good success. I think last year we did 23 and it took us 3 hours. And this year we did 50, more than double, and it took us 3.5 hours. And that was with a break. That was with a beer. That was with not going crazy. We weren't trying to rush and get it done as quick as possible. We're just taking our time and doing it. And it's a lot easier when everyone chips in and helps and makes things a lot easier for us. So that was nice. We have a good system down. What else? What else do we have to add? Bella, anything? What do you think?
I think that Alex needs to come every year for chicken harvesting.
Bella is in her element, covered in blood and guts, and
Here.
yeah, she's pretty happy. Bella's the one we got to keep an eye on.
I think if anyone that's hesitating, that's like, I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know this. It's more humane, and it's more about not being a bystander and supporting factories that are harming and supporting animal cruelty, and standing on your own and saying, I can do this, I can harvest, and I can give these chickens a good life. Like my dad always says, a good life and with one bad day. Like, that's what they had. So that's really what it's about, and I'm happy to say that you did it today.
And we always see
Couldn't have said it better myself, right? That's our spokesperson for our 5-acre farm. This was Alex's first time doing it. Alex, what do you think? It was all right?
I love it.
You loved it? Yeah?
It's cool, huh?
We'll definitely cook a couple up before she leaves. She's here for a month with us this summer.
She's coming next summer.
Coming next summer, yeah.
I'll pay for her ticket so she can come.
We'll see if we can, we'll see if you think she can take one and carry on to bring home to her parents.
I know, right?
This is Emma's second time doing it. Emma's a natural at it.
Third or second?
Second, she's a natural. Bella is third or fourth time doing it. Bella's done it a while.
I've done it a lot.
You've done it a few times, yeah. So, yay, second time. So yeah, big success. Any questions or comments, put them down below. And yeah, so that's
It's
it.
the best thing you could do with your family.
So was there any mistakes that we learned? We did figure out that during the very beginning of the video, I made a mistake of telling you the wrong way to cut the knuckle on the legs, and Shonda pointed out that it was the opposite way. So not the natural bend, but bend it over like you're gonna hyperextend it and push down there. It's easy to find the knuckle. Anything else that we learned that we could
I think that it's the best thing you could do with your family.
No, but anything that we learned that we could have done better or different, or any other?
One that we figured out about halfway through.
Do what? Yeah, we talked about that. Yep.
One that we figured out about halfway through is if instead of going like right above the jawline, if you just hold the chicken's head down and forward, so that way you're holding on to the beak, and then slice that way, you can get to the jugular faster.
There you go.
Jugular is
All
more
right.
like right here than it is right here.
There you
And
go.
so it bleeds out faster and it goes deeper. Yeah.
There we go. All about learning. I like it. I like it.
And family.
And family. Right now we're cleaning everything up with bleach. I'm spraying down the ground over there. I was hosing down where the blood was. We don't want to attract any animals. We did them in the vinegar bath, and then we moved them over to those coolers. Those two big coolers, I think they're 60, what do they say on them? 60, how many quarts?
I'm going to show you inside of them though.
Yeah, how many quarts does it say? It's still got a sticker on it.
165 quart.
165 quart, and that held, so those two are completely full. 50 chickens. So 25 each just for info. So that's full right there. That's full right there. Are there any left in there? There shouldn't be if there are.
I hope not.
Yep, there are. Okay, good. Let's take those out, put them in here. So now I'll drain the water out of here, and we'll keep them in here overnight on ice. We'll add new ice to it. Last year we had a refrigerator to put them in. This year we don't because it's our deep freezer and it's on in freezer mode. So we're gonna have to keep them here overnight, 24 hours, and then we'll bag them up tomorrow, shrink wrap them, and we'll video that as well. So we don't have enough people today. It was a lot of work. I can't really push the kids too hard, even though I wish I could. But we're all hurting. I've been working for many days in a row now. So yeah, so that's it for today. I'll video a little bit more tomorrow before the end of the video, and I'll show us bagging them up and shrink wrapping them. So otherwise, pretty successful day and good family time, and we're all harvesting our own food, and feel good about it, and that's it. So all right, so we'll see you tomorrow at the end of the video to shrink wrap them. All right, so this is the final day of raising and processing the Cornish Cross. Had 8 weeks of raising them up, had 3 weeks of brooding them, 5 weeks of rotationally grazing them, 1 day of slaughtering and butchering them, and now today we're going to be bagging them up. I don't know if Shonda's going to want to piece some out today. She may. So we might be piecing some out, cutting them up, cutting the legs off, the breasts off, things like that. That way, when you don't have to cook a whole chicken every time you want to cook chicken. If she's cooking a recipe that requires chicken breasts or something like that, it's just easier to do that. Although it is pretty easy to pull one out, defrost it, and cut it up. But anyways, so she may do that today as well. I think we ended up with 50 yesterday. Not what we had hoped for. We'd hoped for more than that. So that's going to leave us with 40 something, 42 or something like that, because we have a few that are promised away already. So so 43, 42, something like that we'll be left with. So we might do another batch in the fall time. We'd have to buy them in August and raise them out until October. A little easier though, you can brood them outside because it's going to be hot, so we don't really need the heat lamps and all that. Anyways, let's just focus on this. So we're going to be bagging them up. I got 1 pot of water heating up right now, bring that to a boil. We've got the bags and we've got the straws and all that. I'll show you what we do. I got 2 coolers full of chickens right now. So they stayed well overnight. We haven't had any issues with large predators on our property like bears. I was kind of afraid that overnight that might happen, but they were filled with water as well with the ice on top. We just drained out the water to move them over here. We harvested over there behind that shed yesterday, and now we're underneath our carport since it's raining out today. It's not raining right now, but it's going to start again. So it was raining pretty hard earlier, so good thing we got it all done yesterday. So today was raining on and off. It's been on and off windy. We were going to go on a boat today. We didn't make that. Too cold and windy, back down in the 60s today. So it's a good day to do this. Kind of bring this to a boil. We don't have to worry about the temperature. Just want to get it hot, bring to a boil, and we'll show you what we do. We're going to put them in these bags here. We have these bags that are specifically for poultry. And then we'll zip tie the top. We'll show you what these straws are used for. There's a purpose for these. We'll show you what that's used for. And we'll bag them up. We've already made room in our freezer. And we'll have meat for, well, it'll be, like I said, it's less than 50, so it's less than one a week. But at the rate we eat them, we could get away with that. But I think we want to go a little bit more. So that's why we may do another batch, small batch, at the end of summer. But so our freezer's pretty full with meat right now. It's a good thing. We'll have 40 something more chickens in there. We've got a lot of pork left, almost a whole pig in there. We ate all the bacon. All the bacon's almost gone. But we've got a lot of pork chops, and a lot of sausage left. So we got a lot of pork in there, got a lot of lamb in there. We got 2 lambs in there, not 2 full lambs because we've eaten some of it. So we're pretty stocked with meat. We don't buy meat from the grocery store. We miss out on the beef, so if we ever occasionally want a steak, we'll go to the grocery store and get that. I don't know, maybe that'll be an adventure down the road for us, raise us a couple heads of cattle. The meat up here in North Idaho is really good, though. It's not like what we got in California. The meat from the grocery store up here is a lot better, in my opinion. Okay, so this is how we bag them up. So I flip them upside down like this, put them in these totes, let the water drain out of them as much as can be. Then we bag them up. We put a zip tie, we put a straw in there, twisted the bag, put a zip tie around it, and leave the straw, and then I'll show you what the straw is for in a minute. So this one is not done yet. This is all done. Straw's been removed, zip tie is tight, it's weighed, that's all set to go.
So we take it over here.
Then we take it over here.
Weigh it. And then we mark it.
Weigh it, mark it.
This is 6.5 pounds of chicken.
6.5 pounds right there. So we take the empty bag, take the chicken, so this one's been sitting there draining out. Slip it over the chicken like this, head first, or in this case neck first. Take a straw, put it in there, take a zip tie, put it around. Okay. Tighten the zip tie onto the straw. You can't forget the straw. You don't want to tighten it before you put that straw in. Okay? So after I get that loosely around there, I'll twist it a little bit more. Okay, now I'll tighten the zip tie down onto the straw. Okay, and now we're going to dip it into the water for about 10 seconds or so. What's going to happen is that the air that's inside the cavity, I'm not going to push the straw all the way down to the meat. I'm going to leave it halfway into the cavity, and the air will be pushed out. The hot water, the heat is going to push on the put pressure on the bag and on the bird. It's going to push the air out through the straw, and that's where you're going to get the vacuum seal from. All right, so once I got my straw in there, the zip tie around, I've twisted it. Like good. Now I just dunk it in for approximately 10 seconds or so. The air is being pushed up through that straw. Let it get all the way under the water, but not the wrapping, not the top portion of the bag under the water. You pull it out, it looks like something you bought at the grocery store. You know, that's it right there. So I'll pull the straw out. And I'll tighten that up. hand it to her, she'll tighten it up a little bit more, and that's it. And we'll keep doing that until we're all the way through. So I have them all set up, bagged, and straws in, and zip ties on. So I'm putting it under where the I don't know what you call it, the tail end of the bag is sticking out. I don't want to get the water over that, because I don't want the water to get to the side.
6.6.
So right now we're averaging 6.5 pounds, which is really good. Last year we averaged 3.5 pounds, which was horrible. I'm just gonna hand it to her. She'll pull the straw out and tighten that up. And I think the biggest difference this year was last year we used all non-GMO, corn-free, soy-free chicken feed. So this year I used non-GMO again, of course, because I don't want, you know, crappy chemicals in my food. But I didn't use the corn-free and the soy-free. So basically, we fed them corn, non-GMO corn, organic stuff, not the chemically linked corn. But we did use corn. I think that made the biggest difference in the weight. So just like that, just like you get from the grocery store.
It's corn.
That's why we did it underneath there. It's starting to rain again, so that's why we're underneath the canopy today. We're averaging 6.5. We've got a couple that are over 7. The smallest one so far has been 5 pounds, 14 ounces, so just under 6 pounds. So far so good. 6.5 pounds, good sized bird, I think. You know, I don't think we had any 8-pounders like I had hoped for, but you know, it is what it is. So we're getting it.
Sizes.
So yeah, we got different sizes. Next year I think, or next time I think I'll do all roosters. Get all good sized ones. So this is our process for bagging them up and putting them in the freezer. Beautiful Idaho summertime weather. Working out in the rain, thunderstorms. Looking at the canopy today. It's got 40% chance of rain. That means there's a 40% chance that there'll be 100% chance of rain. Kind of like 60% of the time it works all the time. Yeah, this is
Awesome.
Idaho weather. So yesterday wasn't bad. Yesterday was a little overcast. The day before yesterday was blazing hot, super hot. Yesterday was overcast and nice when the sun was hot. Today's back down to 60s and just torrential downpours, thunder, lightning.
I'm not having much of a garden.
Yeah, not much of a garden for it this year. The weather's staying cold. But yeah, at least we have the carport over our head and the canopy, so that's nice. So yeah. Making up some chicken in the rain. So we're going, as of right now, we're gonna shrink wrap 27 of them, and then the next 20 or so we're going to part out. We cut them up into breasts and wings and stuff like that, and legs. That way, when we're looking for just chicken breast to make up the recipe, she can go and grab that out of the freezer as well. And like I keep saying, probably another batch again in the summer so we can do this again. More parted out chickens, more pieces. So good for, you know, regular cooking. And you don't want to cook a whole roasted chicken. Although we love the roasted chicken, so a little more. So, beautiful weather to be working outside. So we did all 50 chickens. We parted some out. We kept, I have 7 set aside to give out to neighbors. I have 23, I think, or 24 full chickens for us, for roasting, full chickens. And the rest we parted out. Shonda cut them up into breasts and thighs and wings, and whatever else. We kept everything. We kept, and I'll show you before the end of this video, I'll show you the freezer. We kept the carcasses as well. There was still a lot of meat left on the carcasses after parting them out. So we'll use those to make chicken broth or to make chicken soup, because there's still a lot of meat left on them that can break up when boiling them. We can also use them as dog food. As long as we keep them raw, not cook them, they'll be okay for the dogs. You don't want to give dogs cooked bones because they'll splinter and they could perforate their intestines. But raw food is fine for dogs. It's better for dogs than cooking it. So I don't even know how long that took us. I don't think I came out too early. I think I came out at like 11:30 today, and it's probably 4. As you can see behind me, the sun's shining again from that catastrophic storm we're having. Back to sunshine now. Probably took us 5 hours, 6 hours. It took us longer to do this than it did to butcher them yesterday. And that's because parting them out took the longest. That was a lot of work. And she did all that. I sealed them. I carried them all to the freezer in the shop. I did all that work, and she butchered them all, cut them all up. She's better at that than I am because she's an experienced cook. So she knows what they're supposed to look like. I mean, I can do it. I'm not an idiot, but she's better at it than I am. So yeah, it took us a while. It wouldn't have taken us nearly that long if we were going to just shrink wrap them whole. It wouldn't have been that bad. But because we pieced them out, it took a lot longer. So not bad. We got a freezer full of chicken. So yeah, I'll show you our freezers. I mean, they're not jam-packed, but we still got a little room in there. So we'll do some more chickens this year, I think, depending on how much we eat. We'll do another pig at some point this year, and hopefully some more lambs. We'll see. I'll show you the freezers though before I end the video. So I hope you learned something, or at least were entertained a little bit. So that's it for harvesting. If you didn't see the other videos about raising them, please go back, watch those videos, see how they get raised. It's all pretty easy. It's all easy stuff, not a big deal. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm definitely not an experienced farmer, that's for sure. So if I can do it, you can do it. It's well worth it. They are delicious. They are so much better than what you get in the grocery store, so much healthier than what you get in the grocery store. You know where the meat came from. You know what went in the meat, what's not in the meat. Well worth it, in my opinion. So, all right, before I sign off, I'll take you and show you the freezers. So this is our first freezer. That has all of our pork in it. That's all the sausage we got from our pig. So there's some roasts. I think we're just about out of bacon. Everyone loved the bacon. Oh, 3 packs of bacon left. Everyone loved the bacon. It was incredible. Some ham steaks. So that's it. That's the pork. That's the fat. We still haven't rendered that. We're gonna render that down. And then this is. We've got lamb in here too. There's lamb underneath here, and there's ground lamb at the bottom here. These are all the chickens. There's 23 or 24. 23 chickens, I think. 7 I'm going to be giving away. So 30 chickens total. So we pieced 20 and we kept 30 whole. And then we divided the others up. Legs and thighs, wings, breasts and thighs. 4 breasts, 2 thighs is what most of the packages are. So this is 100% our meat in here. The other freezer's 80 or 90% our meat. Still got some leftover stuff from before we started. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So this is 8 weeks, and this is what we got. You know, not bad. Not bad. Could have been better, you know. Like I said, lost 28, which is ridiculous, but I think that at night, what was happening, because a lot of them weren't sick and died. We had some that got sick and died, but not 28. Probably if I had to guess, 10 at the most, if even less than that got sick and died. Maybe less, maybe somewhere between 5 to 10. A lot of them, some of them got eaten by the crows, and I think at night a lot of them were getting taken out by the owls, because a lot of them we didn't even see the bodies, so I had no idea where they went to. So I'm thinking the owls probably got a lot of them as well. So my fault for not putting them back in the chicken tractor at night, letting them free range. And I said, oh, free range is better, but I still believe it is. But at the very least, I have to put them away at night into the chicken tractor, into their coop, rather than letting them just hang out all night long. I can't do that. So now I know, and I'll do it next time. So like I said, we might be doing this again in the spring, in the fall time, to finish off filling this freezer up for the year. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Please subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Thank you.